Hey Rayleigh, and anybody else watching, and welcome back to another message from your father. Today, Job 13 through 16. So we've been looking at the back and forth between Job and his friends. Their comfort, being with him for 7 days and 7 nights in silence, has now kind of taken a shift. You can kind of see a outpouring of everything they wanted to say, and then Job's defense of that. So specifically, today we are going to be looking at Eliphaz, his counter to Job, and then Job's response to him. So that's, again, it's a lot of dialogue here, but all of that is going to be 13 through 16. So chapter 13, and we're picking up with Job speaking. My eyes have seen all this. My ears have heard and understood it. What you know, I also know. I am not inferior to you, but I desire to speak to the Almighty and to argue my case with God. You, however, smear me with lies. You are worthless physicians, all of you. If only you would be altogether silent. For you, that would be wisdom. Hear now my argument. Listen to the plea of my lips. Will you speak wickedly on God's behalf? Will you speak deceitfully for him? Will you show him partiality? Will you argue the case for God? Would it turn out well if he examined you? Could you deceive him as you might deceive men? He would surely rebuke you if you secretly showed partiality. Would not his splendor terrify you? Would not the dread of him fall on you? Your maxims and proverbs of ashes, your defenses are defenses of clay. Keep silent and let me speak. Then let come to me what may. Why do I put myself in jeopardy and take my life in his hands? Though he slay me, yet I will hope in him. I will surely defend my ways to his face. Indeed, this will turn out for my deliverance, for no godless man would dare come before him. Listen carefully to my words. Let your ears take in what I say. Now that I have prepared my case, I know that I will be vindicated. Can anyone bring charges against me? If so, I will be silent and die. Only grant me these two things, O God, and then I will not hide from you. Withdraw your hand far from me, and stop frightening me with your terrors. Then summon me, and I will answer, or let me speak, and you reply. How many wrongs and sins have I committed? Show me my offense and my sin. Why do you hide your face and consider me your enemy? Will you torment a wind-blown leaf? Will you chase after dry chaff? For you write down bitter things against me, and you make me inherit the sins of my youth. You fasten my feet in shackles. You keep close watch on my paths by putting marks on the soles of my feet. So man wastes away like something rotten, like a garment eaten by moths. Chapter 14. Man born of woman is of few days and full of trouble. He springs up like a flower and withers away like a fleeting shadow. He does not endure. Do you fix your eye on such a one? Will you bring him before you for judgment? Who can bring what is pure from the impure? No one. Man's days are determined. You have decreed the number of his months and have set limits he cannot exceed. So look away from him and let him alone till he has put in his time like a hired man. At least there is hope for a tree. If it is cut down, it will sprout again, and its new shoots will not fail. Its roots may grow old in the ground, and its stump die in the soil, yet at the scent of water it will bud and put forth shoots like a plant. But man dies and is laid low. He breathes his last and is no more. As water disappears from the sea, or a riverbed becomes parched and dry, so man lies down and does not rise, till the heavens are no more. Men will not wake or be roused from their sleep. If only you would hide me in the grave, and conceal me till your anger has passed. If only you would set me a time and then remember me. If a man dies, will he live again? All the days of my hard service, I will wait for my renewal to come. You will call, and I will answer you. You will long for the creature your hands have made. Surely then you will count my steps, but not keep track of my sin. My offenses will be sealed up in a bag. You will cover over my sin. But as a mountain erodes and crumbles, as a rock is moved from its place, as water wears away stones, and torrents wash away the soil, so you destroy man's hope. You overpower him once and for all, and he is gone. You change his countenance and send him away. If his sons are honored, he does not know it. If they are brought low, he does not see it. He feels the pain of his own body and mourns only for himself. Chapter 15. Then Eliphaz the Temanite replied, "Would a wise man answer with empty notions, or fill his belly with the hot east wind? Would he argue with useless words, with speeches that have no value? But you even undermine piety and hinder devotion to God. Your sin prompts your mouth. You adopt the tongue of the crafty. Your own mouth condemns you, not mine. Your own lips testify against you. Are you the first man ever born? Were you brought forth from the hills? Do you listen on God's counsel? Do you limit wisdom to yourself? What do you know that we do not know? What insights do you have that we do not have? The gray-haired and the aged are on our side, men even older than your father. Are God's consolations not enough for you, words spoken gently to you? Why has your heart carried you away, and why do your eyes flash, so that you vent your rage against God and pour out such words from your mouth? What is man that he could be pure, or one born of woman that he could be righteous? If God places no trust in his holy ones, if even the heavens are not pure in his eyes, how much less man, who is vile and corrupt, who drinks up evil like water? Listen to me, and I will explain it to you. Let me tell you what I have seen, what wise men have declared, hiding nothing received from their fathers. To him alone the land was given, when no alien passed among them. All his days the wicked man suffers torment, the ruthless through all the years stored up for him. Terrifying sounds fill his ears. When all seems well, marauders attack him. He despairs of escaping the darkness, and he is marked for the sword. He wanders about, food for vultures. He knows the day of darkness is at hand. Distress and anguish fill him with terror. They overwhelm him like a king poised to attack. But he shakes his fist at God and vaunts himself against the Almighty, defiantly charging against him with a thick, strong shield. Though his face is covered with fat and his waist bulges with flesh, he will inhabit ruined towns and houses where no one lives, houses crumbling to rubble. He will no longer be rich, and his wealth will not endure, nor will his possessions spread over the land. He will not escape the darkness. A flame will wither his shoots, and the breath of God's mouth will carry him away. Let him not deceive himself by trusting what is worthless, for he will get nothing in return. Before this time he will be paid in full. He will be like a vine stripped of its unripe grapes, like an olive tree shooting its blossoms. For the company of the godless will be barren, and fire will consume the tents of those who love bribes. They conceive trouble and give birth to evil. Their womb fashions deceit. Chapter 16. Then Job replied, I have heard many things like these before. Miserable comforters are you all. Will your long-winded speeches never end? What ails you that you keep on arguing? I also could speak like you if you were in my place. I could make fine speeches against you and shake my head at you, but my mouth would encourage you. Comfort from my lips would bring you relief. Yet if I speak, my pain is not relieved, and if I refrain, it does not go away. Surely, O God, you have worn me out. You have devastated my entire household. You have bound me, and it has become a witness. My gauntness rises up and testifies against me. God assails me and tears me in his anger, and gnashes his teeth at me. My opponent fastens on me his piercing eyes. Men open their mouths to jeer at me. They strike my cheek in scorn and unite together against me. God has turned me over to evil men and thrown me into the clutches of the wicked. All was well with me, but he shattered me. He seized me by the neck and crushed me. He made me his target. His archers surrounded me. Without pity, he pierces my kidneys and spills my gall on the ground. Again and again he bursts upon me. He rushes at me like a warrior. I have sewed sackcloth over my skin and buried my brow in the dust. My face is red with weeping. Deep shadows ring my eyes. Yet my hands have been free of violence, and my prayer is pure. O earth, do not cover my blood. May my cry never be laid to rest. Even now, my witness is in heaven. My advocate is on high. My intercessor is my friend. As my eyes pour out tears to God, on behalf of man, he pleads with God, as a man pleads for his friend. So it's a really interesting last couple verses there. And again, we come back to that advocate. Now, Job didn't know Jesus, right? Because Jesus came after this, but he still recognized his need for that. And Job goes through here, and it's so interesting because Job says, I am righteous and I have been pure and holy. And yet we also get recognition where Job mentions the sin of his youth. But he knows that God has removed that from him because he has been holy, we saw, sacrificing for his children and obviously sacrificing for himself as well. But what's interesting is this court day that Job wants, where he can plead his case. That is exactly what we get. We get an opportunity to plead our case before God. Again, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. Candidly, I don't even know if we're going to have a chance to speak. I think our situation will condemn us before anything else because we are guilty. Man is born into sin. We are born guilty. And yet, our advocate, our attorney, our representative before God, Christ has died, and he says, yeah, my client is guilty, but I have paid his bail. I haven't paid it with money. I have paid it with my own blood. So the judge, God the Father, looks at the Son and says, okay, if you have covered him, then we're good. And that is awesome. So my prayer for you, Rayleigh, is, again, even as I keep telling you this over and over, that you recognize that yes, we are guilty far beyond what we could even begin to comprehend in front of a massively perfect and holy, righteous God. And yet, even further, Christ has paid on our behalf with the most expensive thing, his blood, his own blood. So have confidence in that. And while you may not have confidence in yourself, have confidence, full confidence and assurance in Christ. That's my prayer for you. Know that I am praying it for you, and I love you. Anyone else joining, as always, know that I appreciate you, and I will plan on seeing you tomorrow. Have a good one.